Welcome in. It's incredibly good to have you here with us today.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Because whether you are, maybe you're prepping for a massive strategic meeting today or catching up on some personal development, or you're just simply one of those insanely curious people who loves deconstructing how the world works,
Yeah,
you've absolutely found the right place.
you really have.
Because today, we are taking a microscope to something that literally every single one of us navigates every single day.
Yeah.
Yet we almost never stop to analyze the actual mechanics of it. We are talking about the anatomy of a daily routine.
It really is the invisible architecture of our lives, right? We spend so much time thinking about our massive long-term goals.
Oh, constantly.
But it's actually the seemingly mundane minute-by-minute structure of just a random Tuesday that actually determines if we reach those goals.
That is exactly it. And to explore this architecture today, we're looking at a really fascinating transcript.
Yeah, this is a great one.
It comes from the English Leap podcast, specifically their 6th episode, which is produced by the channel Speak English with Class.
Right.
Now, I want to be clear about what this source material is.
Right.
On the surface, this audio is designed as an English language learning tool.
A very effective one, too.
Definitely. It features a host walking 2 different people through their daily habits. And they have a vocabulary expert named Crystal who chimes in on the phrasing.
But the mission of our deep dive today is to really read between the lines here.
Exactly.
We're going to unpack how these little everyday habits, from the exact moment you open your eyes all the way to the second you drift off to sleep, create a rhythm that keeps a life moving forward.
Yeah.
And at the same time, we're going to look at the specific vocabulary they highlight, not as a basic language lesson.
Right, we're going deeper.
We want to see how the words we use perfectly encapsulate the psychological states of our days. Okay, let's unpack this. Because the audio introduces us to 2 main speakers who give us a total play-by-play of their days.
Which is so helpful to see. It is. We have Jennifer, who is a full-time student, and Daniel, who is a working professional.
And it's incredibly relatable to see how they structure their time, especially where their habits completely diverge and where they perfectly align.
Yeah, completely. Because routines fundamentally, they aren't just about checking boxes or functioning like a robot on an assembly line to maximize corporate productivity.
They really aren't. They are fundamental tools for feeling balanced and actually being in control of our lives.
Yes.
When we understand the nuance of the vocabulary used to describe our routines, we actually gain a much sharper understanding of the psychology behind why we do what we do.
I love that. So let's start right at the very beginning, the morning foundation.
The way you initiate your morning is critical. I mean, it almost entirely dictates the cognitive and emotional baseline for how the rest of the day will unfold.
And Jennifer and Daniel actually have slightly different approaches to that initiation. But you can clearly see they share the exact same DNA in their strategy.
Let's hear it.
So Jennifer, the student, wakes up at 7 a.m. But she makes a point of saying she doesn't just jump out of bed and start frantically rushing around.
A huge mistake a lot of people make.
Oh, yeah, the worst way to wake up. Instead, she takes a deliberate moment to stretch and do some breathing exercises before her feet even hit the floor.
Wow.
She describes it as a gentle way to ease into the day and feel alert.
It's a gradual, intentional transition from sleep to wakefulness, rather than just a jarring shock to the nervous system.
Right. Now, Daniel, the working professional, he wakes up a bit earlier at 6:30 a.m.
Makes sense for a professional schedule.
Yeah, his job demands an earlier start. And his very first action is totally different from Jennifer's. The very first thing Daniel does is drink a large glass of water.
Ah.
He hydrates to set the tone for the day ahead.
What's fascinating here is that despite having completely different physical actions, Jennifer is stretching her muscles and engaging in breath work.
Right.
While Daniel is internally hydrating his system, both of these individuals are doing the exact same psychological work.
How so?
They are creating a calm, structured foundation before the inevitable chaos of the day begins.
Oh, I see what you mean. It's less about the water itself or the stretching and more about the act of claiming that very first moment of the day for themselves.
Exactly, rather than immediately surrendering it to external demands.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
From a physiological standpoint, Daniel drinking water addresses the mild dehydration we all experience after 8 hours of sleep, which jumpstarts the metabolism.
Sure.
And Jennifer's stretching increases blood flow. But psychologically, they're both erecting a boundary. They're basically saying, I am in control of this first sequence of events.
I love that. Taking ownership of the morning. And from there, their habits actually sync up perfectly. Both Jennifer and Daniel immediately head to the bathroom to brush their teeth and wash their faces.
Classic routine.
But then, they do something highly strategic before they get swept up in the demands of their respective environments. Both of them sit down to review their agendas.
Very important step.
Jennifer checks her emails and her class schedules. Daniel checks his emails and reviews his to-do list.
They are orienting themselves to the landscape of the day.
But wait, I have to play devil's advocate for a second here.
Go for it.
When I hear about someone waking up and immediately staring at a to-do list or an inbox, my chest gets a little tight. Isn't that just inviting stress into those peaceful first moments we just talked about?
It can be.
How do they balance that structure without triggering anxiety right out of the gate?
That is a very fair point, and it's a trap a lot of people fall into. But if you listen to how Daniel and Jennifer describe this process, they aren't agonizing over the list.
Okay.
They emphasize that having this organized, start knowing exactly what is on the agenda, actually prevents anxiety.
Really?
Yeah, it's a concept known as cognitive offloading. By looking at the plan, they don't have to spend mental energy worrying about what they might be forgetting.
Oh, that's interesting.
It stops you from spending your morning just reacting to whatever loud problem pops up first.
That makes a lot of sense. You're looking at the map before you start driving.
Precisely.
And we cannot overlook the actual fuel they use for this foundation. Breakfast.
Vital.
Jennifer prefers what she calls a light breakfast. She goes for oatmeal or toast, something simple to get her energy up before her classes. Daniel leans toward eggs with toast, or sometimes he makes a smoothie.
Notice the common denominator here. Neither of them is skipping the meal,
Right.
which would leave them running on cortisol. But neither is eating a massive, heavy breakfast like pancakes and bacon either.
Yeah, no food comas at 8 a.m.
Exactly. They are choosing specific foods complex carbohydrates like oatmeal or protein like eggs to optimize their glycemic index for the morning tasks.
This actually brings us to the vocabulary breakdown from the audio. Crystal, the vocabulary expert on the show, highlights terms like stretch, hydrate, light breakfast, and to-do list.
Okay.
Now, obviously, we all know what a to-do list is or what it means to drink water. But in the context of a productivity routine, these words take on a bit more weight, don't they?
Absolutely. They shift from being simple nouns and verbs to representing strategic tools. Take the phrase light breakfast.
Right.
Crystal points it out, and while it just means a small morning meal, the operational word for our purposes is light.
A light, yeah.
It's a deliberate choice to provide energy without weighing the body down and triggering a digestive slowdown.
Makes sense?
And the to-do list, sure, it's standard corporate speak, but Daniel used it as an anchoring mechanism. It is the vocabulary of intention.
Really is. It frames the morning not as things happening to you, but actions you are taking to set yourself up.
Exactly.
So we have the foundation laid. We are stretched, we are hydrated, we have our light breakfasts and our anchoring lists. Here's where it gets really interesting. Let's transition into the afternoon shift, the busy hours.
The afternoon is truly the crucible of the day. It's where your morning intentions are tested against the reality of your workload.
And for Jennifer, her afternoons are heavily loaded with classes and long study sessions. This is when she has to be the most focused.
A lot of deep work.
Yeah. And for Daniel, it's the most demanding part of his day too, packed with back-to-back meetings and project work. But despite their totally different environments, they both rely on a core, non-negotiable strategy.
Which is?
Taking short, deliberate breaks.
Which is something a lot of high achievers resist doing.
Oh, completely. There is so much guilt associated with stepping away from the desk. But Jennifer explicitly notes that she takes short breaks during her long study sessions to stretch and move around because it keeps her mind fresh.
Smart.
And Daniel does the exact same thing. He steps away from his desk, even just for a few minutes, to stretch or grab a snack. He says these brief moments help him recharge.
The physical act of removing yourself from the workspace is vital here. We often think of focus as a limitless resource if we just try hard enough.
Just power through.
Exactly, the power-through mentality. But neuroscience tells us you cannot maintain peak cognitive performance for hours on end without a reset. By using brief moments of physical movement, they are actively breaking up the cognitive load.
But what happens when you are trapped? When you have back-to-back meetings and you literally cannot step away for a 10-minute walk.
That is where the nuance of Daniel's approach matters. He mentions stepping away even just to grab a snack or stand up. It's about micro breaks.
Micro breaks.
Yeah. Even a 60-second shift in visual focus looking out a window instead of staring at a screen can offer a micro recovery for the brain's attention networks.
That's a great tip. And then there's the main event of the afternoon. Lunch.
Always a crucial turning point.
They both usually eat around noon, and their choices are incredibly deliberate. Jennifer opts for a light salad or a sandwich. Daniel's go-to is a quinoa salad with veggies or a turkey sandwich.
Notice the pattern.
Yeah, and Daniel makes the specific point to step completely away from his work while he eats. No sad desk lunches for Daniel.
Good for him. This is where diet directly intersects with cognitive endurance. Both speakers are intentionally avoiding heavy meals at lunch.
Right.
If you think about the biology of it, heavy fat-rich meals require significant energy to digest. The parasympathetic nervous system kicks in, drawing blood flow toward the digestive tract and away from the brain.
The classic food coma.
Exactly. It's postprandial somnolence. By choosing light, nutrient-dense foods like quinoa, vegetables, and lean turkey, they are actively dodging that dreaded mid-afternoon energy slump.
They aren't just eating to satisfy hunger, they are eating for sustained focus.
Spot on.
I love how they view food as an operational tool in that moment. Because right after lunch, they go on the offensive.
Oh, they do.
Yeah. Both Jennifer and Daniel tackle their biggest, most important assignments right after they eat.
That is brilliant.
They use that renewed energy from their healthy meal and their midday break to focus on key projects. Daniel says he tries to knock them out while he is still feeling productive before the day winds down.
It's a textbook example of energy management over time management. They are capitalizing on their remaining peak energy. A lot of people leave their hardest, most complex tasks for 3 or 4 in the afternoon.
When you're totally drained.
Precisely. By then, willpower and decision-making capacity are naturally depleted. Jennifer and Daniel address the heavy lifting immediately after regrouping at lunch.
Let's bring Crystal back into the mix for the afternoon vocabulary, because the words highlighted here perfectly describe the life cycle of a workday.
Let's hear them.
We have focused, recharge, regroup, sluggish, knockout, and energy slump.
If you look closely at these terms, they tell a story of resource management. Focused is the desired state, right? Giving your full attention to the task.
Right.
But to maintain it, you must recharge. And I really like the word regroup here.
Yeah, regroup is a great word.
It's a military term originally. It implies that your forces, in this case, your mental faculties, have been scattered by the morning's activities, and you need to gather them back together to tackle the second half of the day.
And if you fail to regroup, or if you eat a massive cheeseburger for lunch, you end up sluggish.
Yes.
I think sluggish is such a perfectly evocative word. It doesn't just mean slow. It feels thick, like moving through molasses.
Perfect description.
It perfectly captures that physiological drop in glucose where your brain just refuses to fire on all cylinders.
And that sluggishness is the gateway to the energy slump. I would encourage you, listening to this right now, to analyze your own afternoon energy slumps.
That's a great exercise.
When do they typically hit you? Are they inextricably tied to a heavy lunch? Or perhaps the complete absence of those short breaks to recharge your cognitive load?
It's a fantastic question to ask yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you can engineer your routine to avoid that slump, you get to use Daniel's informal phrase. You get to knock out your tasks.
Exactly.
You efficiently finish the big projects, so you aren't carrying that lingering stress into the evening.
Which is the exact mechanism that allows for a successful transition into the final phase of the day. You cannot truly unwind if your brain is still actively trying to solve a problem you left lingering on your desk.
Right. Which shifts our gears perfectly to the evening unwind.
The wind down.
This is the time dedicated strictly to relaxing after a demanding day of classes or project meetings.
And we need to treat the evening routine with the exact same level of respect as the morning routine, because it literally sets the biological stage for the following day.
It starts with dinner, which for both of them falls around 7:00 p.m. And just like lunch, the food choices are intentional.
Keeping it light.
Simple but satisfying. Daniel likes grilled salmon with the veggies or a stir-fry with rice. Jennifer goes for something quick and easy like pasta with vegetables or a rice bowl.
Notice the underlying strategy here. They aren't spending 2 hours laboring over a hot stove managing complex recipes. They're choosing meals that are nourishing but require minimal cognitive effort to prepare. By 7:00 p.m., decision fatigue has severely set in. Keeping dinner simple, perfectly aligns with the overarching goal of down-regulating the brain.
After dinner, they actively de-stress. They don't just collapse on the couch and stare at the wall.
Sign of recovery.
Yeah, they take short walks, do some light stretching, or listen to music. But then the audio details a habit that I found surprisingly profound.
What is it?
Jennifer mentions that once dinner is done, she always makes sure to brush her teeth and wash her face.
Right after dinner.
Right after dinner. She says it makes her feel refreshed. And Daniel completely agrees. He uses this great metaphor. He says brushing his teeth and washing his face feels like pressing the reset button after a long day.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, what Daniel and Jennifer have stumbled upon is a highly effective psychological anchor.
How so? I mean, I usually wait to brush my teeth until about 3 minutes before I fall asleep. Doing it right after dinner feels like a totally different vibe.
Exactly, and that timing is the key. Throughout the day, stress, tension, and the general residue of work accumulate. By engaging in a very specific, sensory-rich physical action, the shock of cold water on the face, the strong mint taste of toothpaste, they are sending a profound signal to their nervous systems. It acts as a definitive boundary line. It signals that the active consuming part of the day is over and the rest and recovery phase has officially begun.
Wow.
It literally stops you from mindlessly snacking later. But more importantly, it stops you from mindlessly working.
It's a physical action that forces a mental shift. I really need to try that.
It works wonders.
And that shift moves them directly into sleep preparation. The audio notes a major rule they both follow: avoiding screens before bed.
This is paramount for sleep hygiene, and it's the hardest rule for most of us to follow in the modern world.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
But instead of doom scrolling on their phones or binge watching TV, they substitute that screen time with calmer activities. Jennifer winds down with a physical book. Daniel drinks a cup of caffeine-free herbal tea and listens to music.
Very soothing.
And they're surprisingly strict about their bedtimes. Jennifer aims for 10:00 p.m. Daniel sticks to a consistent bedtime of 10:70 p.m. They both clearly state that getting a full night's sleep dictates how much better they feel the next day.
They intrinsically understand that the success of tomorrow's routine relies almost entirely on the quality of tonight's sleep.
Totally connected.
By avoiding the blue light of screens, which suppresses the brain's production of melatonin, and by reading or drinking herbal tea, they are actively down-regulating their nervous systems.
Right.
And that consistent bedtime is the final, crucial piece of the puzzle. Going to bed at the same time every night trains the body's internal circadian clock.
Let's bring Crystal in one last time for the evening vocabulary breakdown. The terms highlighted are unwind, reset button, wind down, and herbal tea.
The distinction between unwind and wind down is subtle but important.
Yeah, what's the difference there?
Unwind means to relax and let go of stress. It's the overarching goal of the entire evening. But wind down specifically means to gradually slow down and prepare for sleep.
Oh, I see.
It highlights that sleep is a process, not a switch you just flip at 10:30 p.m.
Right.
We discuss the reset button as that sensory psychological boundary. And finally, herbal tea. Again, we know what tea is, but in this routine, it serves as a gustatory and olfactory cue. The warmth and the scent literally signal the brain that it is time to sleep.
It really is amazing how viewing these simple everyday actions through the lens of this vocabulary makes them feel so much more intentional.
Absolutely.
So what does this all mean? When we look at this entire transcript from the English Slate podcast, we weren't just looking at an ESL lesson about verbs and nouns. We are looking at a blueprint for cognitive endurance.
Precisely. We are looking at the mechanics of self-regulation.
The core philosophy we can extract from listening to Jennifer and Daniel is that a healthy daily routine isn't just a rigid schedule designed for maximum relentless productivity.
No, not at all.
It's a personalized rhythm. It's intentionally designed to create balance, to maintain organization, and to ensure that you're making time to relax, recharge, and take care of your physical and mental machinery.
And I think that is the most important takeaway for you as you listen to this right now. Whether you are a student navigating a crushing class load, a professional managing a chaotic team, or just someone trying to find a little more peace and structure in your daily life.
Yeah.
The goal here isn't to copy Jennifer or Daniel exactly. You don't have to eat quinoa if you hate quinoa.
Please don't.
The key is discovering the specific habits, the right morning transition, the strategic break times, the sensory evening boundaries that work for your unique lifestyle and your specific cognitive demands.
It is all about finding your own rhythm. But before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over. Something that builds on that incredible evening routine we were just discussing.
We spent a lot of time analyzing that reset button metaphor. The idea that splashing water on your face and brushing your teeth right after dinner signals to your brain that it is time to shift gears and relax.
Yeah, such a great concept.
It is an incredibly powerful psychological tool to separate work from rest. But it raises a really interesting challenge.
What's that?
What if you didn't wait until 7:30 p.m. to press that button? What small, intentional, sensory-rich reset button could you build into the very middle of your most chaotic afternoons?
Oh, wow.
What 1-minute action could you take at 2:00 p.m. to instantly shift your mindset, clear the morning stress, and regain your focus for the afternoon?
Oh, I love that challenge. A midday reset button. Maybe it's a specific song or stepping outside for exactly 60 seconds of cold air. Definitely something to experiment with tomorrow afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive into the anatomy of a daily routine. We loved unpacking these sources for you, and we hope you found a few nuggets of insight to bring a little more intentionality and balance to your own day. Keep staying curious, and we will catch you on the next deep dive.